Welcome to the Epic Trash Show, episode number 4. You know the drill by now. We got Chris, we got Bruce, and we got me. Let's get into it.
So this week, we have some show for you. First and foremost, always, we have our email. Hit us up at epictrash@groupmail.com and our Twitter @epictrashshow. Also, take a guess. What's new this week? I don't know. A little different, maybe? Got a nice table. Got a nice new studio.
We did get a new table. And then we're in another room. And we
Don't minimize this. It's a whole new studio, god dang it.
We lost the green screen, but we're going to bring it back.
Yeah.
Totally gonna bring it
We
back.
just had some troubles in our last studio, so we had to move.
We have to show off the different, trash
Rooms of the house.
different rooms of the house, but on the green screen though, we got to use that to show off the various prestigious,
The Augusta,
trash places around the world.
The Augusta bone paint of the wall.
Yep.
I don't know, what is it? Eggshell?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What am I? Some kind of. Anyway, so we got. Also, we're gonna start linking the challenge of the week and the questions of the week on the socials. So if you end up sending us a clip, we'll link that on all our socials. And speaking of challenge of the week, we actually got one this week.
Ooh.
So.
Only took 4 episodes.
Yep.
But we got it.
We did.
Technically 3.
Let's see here. What do we got?
Well.
We got a response from...
We did.
To our challenge of the week from last week, which was kill an entire squad on the dropship in Apex Legends.
And that came in from Salem Thomas NY. He sent us this clip.
Nice. Reload. Oh, there's still more kids. How do you find peacekeepers like that?
Great clip.
Next time, scream epic trash.
No, it was actually dope.
Yeah,
I was actually really impressed watching this. So
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Let's see what's
Kind of reminded me of my Destiny days.
Yeah, back in the day. Okay, so in the news, we got Ubisoft that decided to drop out of Steam. So they're no longer with Steam. They are now obviously on their own Uplay store, but they're also on Epic Games. And they seem to be pretty happy with that decision because the players are now flocking to their Uplay portal, and they're buying more copies of the Division 2 than of the Division 1. The pre-orders were 6 times higher than the original, so on the Ubisoft store. So a pretty decent decision on their part for that, I think. The numbers don't lie.
They left. Wait, what did you just say? They left Steam for the Epic.
Yeah, and
then Epic is linked to the Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now, not only are they, if people are buying it through Epic, they're getting an 18% charge instead of that 30% cut.
Oh.
And also,
but that doesn't actually change the price of the game for people.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
But they're making more money on every purchase that goes through the Epic Store, and also because it's not on Steam, people are just skipping the Epic Store altogether and going straight to Uplay, and they're getting 100% there, and they're getting 6 times higher pre-order numbers than they were when they were on Steam. So
Sounds like a good business decision.
They're pretty happy. We'll see how that pans out.
Well, it's like you said before, though. It's just more launchers.
Yeah.
The Ubisoft has its own launcher too. Doesn't it?
But that said, I think more launchers. I don't like more launchers. That's true. But for what I'm getting in return nowadays, I'm actually very happy with the decision because I have to have more hardware or more software on my machine. But Uplay, trying to keep up with Steam, has been giving away free games
Yeah.
Epic Store has been giving away free games. Like it seems like everybody, PlayStation and Xbox, they're all giving away free games. So it's like Steam is the only one now that isn't.
Yeah.
So because everyone's competing, it seems like it's really starting to shine for us consumers.
Yeah, but I mean, the only thing is, Steam doesn't actually. I don't think they develop any of their own games.
I mean, they used to.
Yeah, but now I think they're just like a service.
Right, and I think that's another good thing is because if people start flocking away from Steam in mass numbers, they're going to have to start making games again, and maybe we'll get a Half-Life 3.
Or Portal 3.
Or Portal 3, or anything 3. Left 4 Dead 3, maybe?
Yeah, anything.
Anything. It'd be so good. But you know what? At the same time, most games that wait more than, 5 or 6 years, it's like they come out with like lukewarm reception almost always. You know what I mean? Like Diablo 3, that was like 12 years in the making. StarCraft 2. Yeah. StarCraft 2 wasn't terrible, but like that was so
Duke
long.
Nukem Forever was in development hell for like 14 years.
Yeah, it's like, and it came out people were just over it.
That was really like the Gearbox bought Duke Nukem the IP.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of rushed it out.
Yeah.
Just like, here.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, so I don't know. So at this point, Half-Life 3 would be almost like, I don't know if I even want it anymore. Plus, they already released the ending of the story. The guy who wrote it was like, here you go. So that was kind of the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah, it's basically over. But they could do Portals, or...
They could.
I mean, they could do any spin-off of...
I really thought they were going to do Portal 3 as a VR exclusive, because they had the HTC 5.
That would have been fun.
And it was like, here, buy our VR thing, because the only way you're going to get Portal 3 is with this. It would be good marketing, I would think. But
there's no way it would come out on PSVR, but it would still be pretty cool.
Yeah. True.
What was interesting, though, like going back to what you said, was with Diablo, or people like waiting a long time, because there was a big time between Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and even the expansion, and then Diablo 3 was a long time from Diablo 2 expansion. And my one question too, and going into our next story, is for Diablo Immortal is the new mobile game that's coming out.
Don't you guys have phones?
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
But they also said that isn't. They're not saying that it's not Diablo 4, but they also said they have another Diablo game in the works.
Yeah,
is what's been said.
Yeah, true.
After the fact.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem why they got such bad reception was because at BlizzCon, everyone paid money for the final thing, like one more thing, and they're like Diablo, and people get excited, and they're like, it's a mobile game.
That was the worst.
Don't freak out! Don't freak out!
Yeah.
We still have another Diablo in the works, but
but
I don't know.
So they should have
they
should have prefaced the whole thing with like, don't worry, there's more.
Right.
Like, but we're not ready to talk about it yet, or something like that.
Right. You
really
don't announce a mobile game as your final thing, but maybe they just didn't have any content for the show.
That's not a clincher if you ask me.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I mean? But I mean, so I wanted to talk about Diablo Immortal because there was a news story that was put out, and it's basically everything you need to know about Diablo Immortal. So if you don't know, I'm just going to summarize the story, and then I just want to talk briefly about the whole thing about being a mobile game, and then and maybe some different aspects that they're going to try and bring. And so, obviously, it's a mobile touchscreen controlled take on Diablo, the action RPG. It's allegedly supposed to come out, or people think it's going to come out in the late 2019, or obviously, if not then, it's going to be sometime in 2020. It's going to be available on Android and iOS. The story of the game is supposed to take place after Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, 5 years after, to be specific. One interesting thing with the characters is they're supposed to have, they're going to have new abilities for cross-class co-op. So it's like the wizard and the barbarian potentially are going to have some mashup skill that will kind of create something bigger.
Oh, I see.
So what was interesting is that it was even skills that are single target can potentially become AoE attacks.
Right.
When combined with other
someone
classes.
else's attack.
Yeah, from what I've read.
Right. So like if you had like a punch for the monk, but your wizard casts some like whirlwind, and all of a sudden you fly around and punch all the enemies in the face or something like that.
Yeah, that's the idea that they're going with.
That's cool.
And then in some of the videos that have been out for a little while, you can see they're going from in Diablo 3 you had four player teams. and then they're going up to 10 players. And then there's also going to be like some kind of platforming aspects, and so you can see that in the video the gameplay video that they released like 3 months ago. You can see one of the characters like jumping onto a rope, and then it kind of like the camera kind of spins around, and then I think there's another part with a raft, and then like so you're kind of on the raft and fighting enemies that are coming in and stuff. So it's going to be a little bit different, potentially, because you're going to have that platforming aspect to it.
Sure.
And then, like I said before, Diablo Immortal is not supposed to be Diablo 4, and so they're supposed to have something else in the works right now that'll potentially be a bigger release for PC and consoles. And right now, there's no price point. But the author of the article is saying that because it's a mobile game, it will probably follow suit with being free to play and having in-app purchases. And that's so like that was kind of interesting to me. Is you know like what kind? Are they just going to be like cosmetics, or are they going to have maybe like loot boxes?
Well, I forget the name of the game.
Probably all that. They're probably also going to have paywalls for like time-based things of some sort.
It's possible. I know that the people who are making this, it's not just Blizzard. They farmed it out to a mobile company that made the game before, and it was very similar to the type of combat that Diablo has. So if you, I don't know what the game's called. I have to look it up. Yeah. But if you look at whatever they made, I bet you'd get a good idea of what it's going to be like.
And so are you guys Diablo fans in general? I mean, how many have you played a lot of the Diablo titles?
Yeah.
And are you pissed off? How do you feel about it being mobile only?
I like Diablo. I started on 2. I played 2 and I bought 3 and I played 3 for a bit, and then I kind of like people were hating on it. I kind of fell off of it, but then when the expansion came out, I had heard good things, so I picked it up and I enjoyed it. So I'm a big fan of 3. Then hearing about this not 4, but
the Immortal,
the Immortal
Diablo,
mobile
let's
game.
call it Diablo Mobile.
Yeah, I mean that. Hearing about that I was more thinking about how much backlash the gaming people, like culture in general, is going to give them.
Yeah.
More than me being personally upset about it, because I knew that 4 is coming out, and I'm never really in a rush to get games anyway.
Right.
So I thought this was cool because now I'll have something that I can. I've like downloaded Diablo clones for my phone before because I thought it'd be cool to have like a dungeon crawler like that on my phone. Mm-hmm. So having an official one isn't the worst thing to tide me over until 4 comes out whenever. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, do you have any thoughts on Diablo, or have you not really ever touched it?
I never played. The only one I played was 3 with my son because he was into it.
Yeah.
He seemed to really enjoy it, and it was fun the bit that I played, but like it never really appealed to me very much. I can understand the appeal that other people have with it and how they would really get into it, but it just wasn't really my kind of thing.
Yeah, that loot cycle didn't really catch you.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean,
make the numbers go higher.
The play style, like the third person, like down the shoulder and camera angles and stuff, and like that kind of stuff. Like it was cool, like back in the day, but now it's like 2019, and
right?
You're just like still playing a game that looks like that. Like
So you don't like the the bird's eye view camera angle, or at least like top down?
Not really. I mean, I played Baldur's Gate 2. That was like that. But,
like 2004.
Yeah, and that was, but that was back in 2004.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, the gameplay was fun, and it's definitely more fun with other people. Mm-hmm. Playing alone, it's not the kind of game I'd play alone.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I feel the same way kind of. It's like if you don't have friends, or at least like play online with another party. But I don't like playing with other parties like in those games, especially when you can't talk to them, because it's like usually when I'm playing with people and I'm going through the story, and I'm a story guy, I'll stop and watch the cutscenes, and everyone's like, go, get all the loot, get all the loot, and I'm like, stop, calm down.
I was having that problem with Red Dead Online. I was like trying to get through like the 5 story missions, and everyone is trying to skip, and I'm just like, I have never seen this before.
Right? Yeah. Come on, it's new.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a big news story for me because Diablo 1 is actually probably the game that got me into gaming hardcore, and like to me, it's in my mind, it was the my first successful time playing a dungeon crawler like that. I mean, I played Gauntlet and stuff for like the Nintendo, the classic.
Right.
And I mean, but it was just a little bit different from that because obviously in Gauntlet there wasn't crazy loot going on. I mean, there's definitely stuff to pick up, but
sure.
I actually don't like. I don't mind that it's coming to mobile. I was not a fan of 3.
Yeah.
I felt like it just kind of went into the realm of let's make games easier for new gamers and stuff. And like I thought Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 were great because of the amount of personalization you get, and then I guess the potential to fail the game, like by applying stats to the wrong attributes, like applying points to the wrong attributes or to the wrong skills. It's like, you know what I mean? You could get to the last difficulty, which was hell, but it's like potentially you couldn't beat it by yourself if you don't make the right character.
Yeah.
If you don't apply points to the right skills to buff the damage.
You have to have a lot of forethought for it.
Well, yeah, you need to experience, or you need to be able to think ahead and trial and error, I guess. But I don't like the delivery like you were talking about with saying like, oh, this is our next big thing and it's on mobile. Like I feel like that's kind of a poor choice. But I don't think Diablo having a mobile game is a bad idea because I actually like playing a lot of games on the phone.
Yeah.
But it's just because of the ease of accessibility you have in playing on your phone. It's like you can really be anywhere and just do it. I mean, it's kind of similar to having a Switch. Like as long as you're carrying the Switch around, you can just play wherever you want. So I think it's good to me. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, I think it's going to be a big release, but I don't think. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are.
Well, are you going to pick it up?
Yeah,
when it comes out.
Yeah, because I think it potentially, even if it costs like $10 or $20 or whatever, I'll probably buy it just because I'm such a hardcore Diablo fan.
Well, you also liked Division though too, right?
I did like the.
You going to pick that one up when it comes out?
I'm not sure. I think I'm going to have to look more. It depends on. I really like the Division because of the group of friends that I played with. Like I strictly had a group of 3 others and me to make up our squad of 4, and like we were on it all the time, and like that co-op like experience with friends, you know what I mean, was like, and to be so dedicated to the game made it great for me.
Yeah.
But like I've said before, I don't think the Division has any replayability, and like going and talking about Diablo 1, I still have a copy of Diablo 1 for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it's like I constantly think about going and getting like a PS2 or a PS1 and like just playing it because I could play Diablo 1 like at any time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think like the top-down angle, like you were talking about, it doesn't bother me because it's just like, well, this is what the game is like, so it's like, why go into another direction? Like I think if you made Diablo 4 more personal and brought your camera closer to the player, I think you're going to lose the nostalgic feel that's been that
well, sure. I mean,
that's been with the game.
That's the way that
I don't think it's going to help it because I feel like those kind of medieval games like that I think are perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know what I mean. Like you still have bosses that are a lot larger than you and stuff. And
you're totally right. Like I don't have.
Is that nostalgic feel really worth it?
Yes.
Because some people agree they bought an old Mario game for $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can stop talking about Diablo. Go ahead.
I'm just saying.
No,
that happened.
No, I was just like a big Diablo fan, so it's like I could probably talk for the whole show about Diablo 1, 2, and 3 and how I feel about a new one and
just to be clear, like I wasn't holding anything against Diablo for that.
Yeah.
It was just because like I understand like that's the way that the game is built. That's the way it's meant to be played. So it totally makes sense to me. Yeah. I'm just saying like for me, it's not really the type of like camera angle and stuff that I would.
Yeah, I think because I have such a personal connection with Diablo 1.
Sure. Well, it is your favorite franchise.
Diablo 1 is my favorite game. I did not like 3.
But 2 was fine.
2 was amazing. I spent a lot of time playing 2 and the expansion, and like
what's
doing
so different about 3
all the time. I just felt like when I first picked it up, it's like you kind of lose some of the personalization.
Oh, right, the talent trees were much simplified.
And then also too, and it's like you can't really ruin your character,
right?
Which is like that. I mean, to me, like it kind of sucks because
Because
if everybody, because if everybody can be the best, then what's the point?
Right.
I think I heard that was like you can't.
I think they changed it around, like when you go into and I forget what it is because I really didn't spend that much time playing it, but when you go into like the next tier after you've achieved the max level, I forget what it's called, and I'm going to remember it right after the show, but it's like, or you go into, oh god, Paragon. You go into like Paragon levels, and then you can start applying points differently than you could before Paragon. Mm-hmm. But then it like kind of goes into more Diablo. But it's just I just didn't like the graphics and stuff. And I know it's like, well, you have to go somewhere and stuff. But it's like I really liked more of. I felt like Diablo 2 in the state that it was with the graphics that we had at the time was more of like a little more real life. Trying to be more real life and trying to be more, you know what I mean? Trying to have, like good skin tones and, sharp looking points and stuff. And I just felt like Diablo 3, I guess sharp points isn't a good argument, but I just felt like they kind of went into kind of a little bit more cartoony look, and it just, you know what I mean? It just really wasn't my bag.
Wasn't striking the same chords.
No, it just wasn't. I mean, like Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and I know like the graphics at the time, it's like I felt more immersed, in that kind of thing.
Path of Exile came in and just like
nailed
it out of the park.
Yeah, and I mean, and they just didn't have as much money, which kind of sucked. To make the game, it's like I just felt like they.
Okay, so like I was saying earlier,
Diablo.
some crazy some crazy people decided that they wanted to pay $100,150 for an ultra rare copy of Super Mario Brothers for the NES. Apparently, Wada Games, whoever they are, they graded it a 9.4, which is near mint. And the reason why it's so special is it didn't have shrink wrap. But instead it was sealed with like a black sticker that said Nintendo. And in 1985 it was the matte one, and in 1986 it was the shiny one.
Yeah.
So
some dude had.
It wasn't one person. It was a group of collectors that purchased it in hopes that it will be worth more in the future. So it's a group investment.
I wonder how big that group is.
I think it was like a handful of people, like collectors.
Maybe 5.
I think
5 people came up with $100,000.
Yeah, for one copy of Super Mario Brothers. Because I guess before they had limited run that they were like releasing in very small amounts throughout the country, so that's why, and it's in such good condition. They think it's the best condition of that rare of a kind in the world.
So it's an emulator.
Yeah,
yeah.
Truth.
But it's like a cartridge that's in like pristine condition.
Yeah, it's in mint condition. Yeah. Still has the seal on it.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, I don't mean to like bash collectors because like I'm a comic book collector, so like I get it. I totally get it.
Right.
It's just like when you see those numbers for the first time.
Yeah.
You're just like. For that, right? That much money for that.
But there's comic books that are probably close to
Action
that.
Comics #1 sells for like millions,
right,
for one copy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Also, if you pre-order Division 2, circling back to that competition is good for consumers. Is that now Ubisoft is handing out a free game. So if you pre-order Division 2, you get one of these 3 titles. You'll either get Ghost Recon Wildlands, Far Cry Primal, or Watch Dogs 2. So, if you feel like picking it up, you might just have yourself 2 games.
Far Cry Primal was pretty good.
Yeah.
Played that.
I played Ghost Recon Wildlands. I enjoyed it for like, I don't know, 10 or 20 hours, but I didn't see tons of replay. It was cool, like when you get into it, but then like once you're in, and maybe they've added some stuff now, but it's just kind of like it's a little bare.
That's one of those.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a great. Better with friends, but like ultimately
every game's better with friends.
I mean, you're in kind of like a bare. You're in a really nice looking place.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of the same stuff going on.
Oh, I see. There's not much.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, these games
not for me.
None of these games seem to be like heavy hitters or anything.
Well, I thought
like
Watch Dogs. Did you really like Watch Dogs
2 got kind of
loved
lackluster response though.
It did because it was supposed to be a launch title that they delayed and delayed and delayed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all three of those were like kind of.
But that was the first Watch Dogs. This is Watch Dogs 2, which came out.
2.
And 2, because of how bad the first one did, no one wanted to give it a chance. But I really liked it. I played through the whole thing. I bought the DLC for it too.
There seems to be a theme among the 3 games. Is my point.
In that they're
not heavy hitters. Like they were just,
true. Yeah, they're giving away.
Some of them went under the radar. Like Far Cry Primal. Like a lot of people were crapping on that game, but I really liked it. I mean, you get to tame a honey badger and send it after like enemies and stuff, and you get to watch honey badger tear up your enemies.
Well, they're all Ubisoft titles, so it's like the best they have to offer. Really, I mean, they could. They don't want to give away their best.
It's what they want to offer.
Right.
Is the key thing there.
That's true.
I think Primal is underrated. That's all I'm going to say.
I think Watch Dogs 2 was underrated.
Because you can ride a freaking Sabretooth into battle.
Right.
In Primal. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I just like the fact that it was hacking simulator. Like, it wasn't realistic at all, but some of the stuff was, like, you had the social engineer and they had the hacker groups battling it out with each other, which is, that shit happened in real life, so it's like, alright, let's do this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I liked it.
Moving on.
So Five Nights at Freddy's, I enjoyed that first game. I played that with my girlfriend at the time, and we had her friend over.
Markiplier play that.
Yeah, and they scream so much, and it scares the crap out of the jump scares. Are cheap, but like they're well done.
Yeah, they work.
You know what I mean? At least it makes sense why there's the jump scare, and you know it's coming, and it still gets you. So now imagine that jump scare in VR, because that's what this next game is, where you play as a animatronic repair person, right? So the game's called Help Wanted, and you basically have to go and fix these things. So I guess I forget what their newest game.
And this is being developed by Scott, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
What was their last game that was Sister something?
Sister Location 2.
Yeah. That apparently there's a part where you kind of do the repairman thing in that. Yeah. And so they're fleshing that out to make it a full VR game. So, and they said as of November 2018 it was about 40% done. So it's coming. I'm
surprised that he didn't announce it and then have it released the day before.
Right.
Like they do. He was so snappy with those releases.
Yeah. Right.
Released like 5 games within a year.
Yeah. Well, I mean they did well, and there wasn't much you had to change it in the beginning,
Yeah.
Get more content.
I wonder if they're going to expand on the lore, because the lore of that series is like so underrated.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook it, but like if you really look deep into it, there's so much to it.
And there's a lot of fan fiction like creepypastas out there about it too, which I listen to like full hour-long shows just about that. I'm like, this is pretty good.
Yeah. So it's good lore.
Yeah, truth. So next up, we got Nerf. They're coming out. They're coming out and cashing in on Fortnite.
Oh boy!
They're coming out with a whole line of guns and super soakers.
I feel like every time Fortnite is mentioned, I feel like the old man who's like, back in my day, I just never played Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, it's not for everybody, but
you can always try. It's free to play. I mean, it really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to plug it in, but I agree. I'm not a big Fortnite fan, but I've still played it.
There's
no reason,
I tried it out. I didn't like the building very much, and I like the gunplay better, which is why when we talk about it, I got a chance to play Apex, and that's like the game that's not for.
It comes off like to me.
Don't like it.
It comes off like as if Saints Row 4 and. Like a typical shooter, had a baby.
Yeah, kind of.
Or Minecraft and like Saints Row.
The gunplay of Saints Row is kind of reminiscent to Fortnite. Yeah. It's very arcadey like that. It's not like tight like other shooters.
Well, that's what it is. Kind of like Saints Row and PUBG.
Yeah.
Had a child.
Yeah.
And was like
pretty much.
That's what it is.
I mean, it looks wild.
But now you can have the guns in real life. You get the AR-L assault rifle that'll run you $50.
Well, what would be really cool is if people take the Nerf guns out and make videos. Basically the Fortnite parody or Fortnite recreation. They could recreate a battle royale, the simulator. Yeah. Because I've seen other stuff like that or airsoft.
Have solid props
where they do they do a PUBG style airsoft or battle royale style where they kind of lay airsoft guns out and then people kind of have to find them and then you know, they have to kind of all
That would
converse.
be cool in
a
real life.
final.
It's like an Easter egg hunt / Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god,
why
you could
not?
do that
You
in
know,
real life.
well,
That would be so fun.
Throw in
Yeah.
some like big
Oh
blocks
my
of foams and
Yeah,
like bounce castles.
I think it'd be fun, and like, you know what, I think it'd be something for people. I mean, especially I don't know how off on topic we want to get, but it's like, you know, a lot of people are spending time, you know, playing games, and especially like I've heard a lot of parents and stuff saying their kids are like, I mean, kids are on Fortnite way too much, so it's like
Right.
it'd be good. I think it's good for them to get this, because it's like, oh, then they can get out of the house and then they can basically go play. I mean, I know when I was a little kid, and like I said, when I was, you know, Gauntlet was around for the Nintendo, it was like we were outside playing in the yard all the time or whatever, and it's like I was, you know, still like, you know.
Well, you know who else cashed in on this there was a festival over in the UK. It was called the Fortnite Festival. It was a 1-day thing, and they charged like $40, right? Because you have to buy the ticket and you had to buy the wristband to get in, and it was terrible. It was literally it's making Fortnite have a bad name now because of how bad it was. It was literally, there was like thousands of people who showed up for this thing, and they had one rock wall and a cave experience, which was literally like a tent with a tarp over it.
Oh god!
And like the carnival games.
The organizers who were not expecting, like, they probably just did not do their homework.
They had people that showed up, took road trips, and stayed in hotels to go to this thing.
God.
And it was just the crappiest.
Yeah, I'm not thinking anything on that scale, but it's like, go out with you. I mean, that's what we used to do all the time. Like, go out, or, you know, like when people were playing paintball all the time, is like, you know, stuff like that. It's like, go out and play.
I was just saying, because that happened
Here, like us out of touch, like 30, like young 30-something-year-olds, go outside and play in the mud, you kids.
Well, I wasn't trying to go there, but it's like, well, why not? Like, because you know what, I've always wanted to do. Like, I'm sure you guys seen them, like the PUBG parody videos and stuff on YouTube. Like, it's like I've always wanted to do.
That doesn't call
like
to me, but I honestly, talking about going out and like actually like having a Fortnite battle royale in real life would be so dope.
Well, but that's what people. I mean, people were having Nerf wars. I mean, that was still a kind of popular thing
But
last year.
It always, it was like because airsoft is a good time, you know what I mean. But this would basically be that, but. Everyone would pool their guns, and then
you have a bunch of Nerf guns.
You get refs though to RNG the shotgun damage.
You get the bouncy. You get bouncy houses.
Only 10 damage.
You get bouncy houses, Nerf guns, and a whole bunch of like freaking foam, like big foam blocks that you can toss around. Yeah, just make it a full blown like.
Why would anyone pick up the guns? I would just pick up the foam block.
No, like use the foam block to like for steps and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be like the building materials or whatever. It's like you could kind of drag around like a little wall and like
get a shield. You can have a shield, and after you get 3 things stuck to it, you got to throw it away.
I'm gonna patent that idea now.
We're coming up with the ideas, guys. That's the next challenge of the week. Show us you doing that.
Playing there. Going outside.
Yeah, go outside. That's the challenge of the week.
What is this bright thing in the sky?
Okay, so let's see. I guess last story. Apex Legends. There was a VR game on Steam called Apex Construct, and now it's doing really well for itself.
Oh boy!
Apparently, the views on the Steam page for Apex Construct went up 4,000% since Apex Legends came out.
How many have they said an increase in sales?
Yeah, the game sells for $30, and they've sold more units in China in the past 7 days than during all of 2018.
Because people think it's related to Apex.
They think it's the game.
Oh, really?
And so now they're pretty sure they're going to get a lot of refunds once people realize what's going on. They bought the wrong game.
Any idea how good Apex Construct is as a standalone?
It got decent reviews, but now all of a sudden, because the idiots are buying this game and thinking they got scammed, even though it never claimed to be anything, they're review bombing it.
Oh, right.
So
that's crap.
Well, that's stupid. Yeah, if you don't even read the description, which is available on Steam, and like you can even not for nothing, but what I always do when I look on like the PlayStation Store or Steam, it's like I look at the thumbnails and like I watch the videos that are available.
You know, normal stuff you do before you hand people cash. Yeah, I don't know. They guess. It's so stupid that people are literally like.
We're all reasonable adults, so like we're a very small minority of the gaming population.
Maybe. There's a lot of us. We're actually in the median age group now.
I think we're in the age group for gamers though. Like,
but I'm saying like our critical thought is like
maybe.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. I kind of.
I've bought in things.
If this is the critical thought, is look at the game before you buy it, then I guess we're in the elite few here. I don't know, but so
that's. Does anybody know what you're doing? Apex Construct?
It's a VR game where I'm assuming you construct Apexes of sorts. I don't know. I didn't actually look at it.
Is it a VR game though?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. But that does suck because it's like, I mean, it kind of sucks that it's not even. Can you play on a regular monitor with keyboard and stuff?
No, it's a VR game.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of dumb.
So it works on any of the helmets. You know what I mean?
I would feel bad though because people are probably buying it and then they don't even get to play it because it's VR.
Yeah, but that's the Steam refund policy. Is if you play less than 2 hours of the game, you find out you can't play this and you just refund it.
Well, I think I mean, you can always just get your money back. So I don't like. I guess if people feel duped, maybe who knows? Maybe in China, Apex Construct is a huge thing.
Maybe.
Like just because, like it,
I mean, it wasn't before Apex came out.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Right.
So that's all I got.
Well, I wanted to get into Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
Because they've been releasing more and more information about it weekly, almost.
Okay.
I think they've been doing a brief 10, like NetherRealm Studios has been doing like a 10-minute video once a week, every week since they first announced it in January, and they've been showing off like revealing characters and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the roster is going to be heavily leaning toward more of the old characters that everyone's familiar with. That's what Ed Boon was saying. Like most of the demand is for the classics. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the classics will be returning. They've already got Cabal, which is a big fan favorite. They just announced Jade. She looks really fun.
Why?
Because she can she's a green female ninja, and she has like this long staff, and she has a pretty good like ranged weapon, but she also has a really good. It seems like she has really good like mid range combos and stuff like that she can use.
Yeah.
And a lot of the fighters seem to be a little bit more long range. But Jade is like she's quick and she can get up like close distances fast. Mm-hmm. So she can be really up in your face like in no time, and you have to be able to prepare for that. Especially also because she's always had like this temporary invulnerability special move. So like if you trigger that at the right time, then you can just really just rush in and take care of business. So she looks really fun.
So it's kind of like the M. Bison phase, isn't it? Where she like phases forward.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if this is true. I saw something on the social medias about that Ronda Rousey is supposed to be. I don't know if it was a joke.
She's playing Sonya.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's actually in it.
Oh, nice.
And, that was not a joke.
Like voice acting.
Yeah, voice acting. Right. She did the motion capture, I think.
Oh,
and
really?
I think they also modeled some of the character model after her too, I believe.
Yeah, I thought I saw like a video game version of her.
Yeah, I don't know if they modeled her face exactly, but like they might have modeled the rest of her. But yeah, she's playing Sonya in the game, and a lot of people were
take that, Shaggy.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he's not going to be in there.
Right.
Thank you, Ed Boon, for being smart with that.
Although the art for it looked pretty dope.
No, let's not go there.
Okay.
Throw him in Street Fighter 2. I wouldn't care.
Okay.
I don't agree. But go ahead.
Scarlett's coming back. She was only shown in Mortal Kombat 9. And she was really fun to play. You might like Scarlett because she has the power to basically manipulate the blood in the enemies.
Oh.
So like all of her superpowers are just like centered around that.
Blood.
Like, telekinetic blood control.
Oh,
it's
nice.
wild. Like one of her like
fatalities.
One of her crazy like brutal moves is like she can like she stabs the guy and then pulls a bunch of his blood out and forms this massive scythe and just comes smashing down with the yeah, it's freaking wicked. I love it.
Oh my god.
She might be my main if Ermac's not in it. I'm hoping that Ermac will be in it. He's been my favorite since 9. But like there's Scorpion, Sub-Zero's in it, Sonya, and then there was this this leaked thing from Steam. Apparently, someone found a leaked roster of like achievements from Steam for MK11, which revealed possibly more of the characters that will be playable in the game, because they were achievements related to fatalities.
Okay.
You have to like do a fatality with this character, do a fatality with that character. They were 3-letter codes, so like they would show like to get this trophy, you have to complete a fatality with ERR and stuff like that. So like people were trying to decipher those 3-letter codes and what the names were.
Yeah.
So there's potential that Frost is coming back, and Frost hasn't been seen since Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance on PS2. That was a long time ago. Frost, I always liked Frost because she's like a female Sub-Zero, but like with her own different set of like icing freeze powers and stuff. So she could be a really cool addition because she hasn't been seen, outside of that one game and Armageddon back in like PS2 era. So, but she could make a really good, really fun return. And then Aaron Black, maybe. He hasn't been confirmed by NetherRealm yet, but he was on that list, that leaked list. I don't want to go on too long about Mortal Kombat 11 because
I have one question though, and just correct me if I'm wrong, but does MK11 have microtransactions to buy fatalities so that you can do them in one
Probably.
button? Because I could have swore, I don't know, maybe I had a dream.
MKX did.
Yeah.
So, it probably.
Which I thought was like really funny.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought it, because I think I bought the, no, I didn't. I bought the Ultimate Edition of Injustice 2. I didn't buy the Ultimate Edition of MKX, but I did end up getting like all the character packs and stuff for MKX. So I essentially ended up with the Ultimate Edition. Yeah. But anyway, they do have but I never really, when I played MKX, I never looked into buying those easy fatalities because it was just like, I can memorize a quick little button combo. I don't have to spend money to like just push a button.
I think that of the cash grabs to have, that one was a good one because it's like you don't have to pay and you can literally continue to play the game that you know and love.
Yeah.
And there's nothing different. And then losers who can't remember a couple button presses.
It's not even that hard.
Not to call you people who are losers.
I wish there was
good.
I wish there was stats somewhere of how many people or how much money they actually made off of that item.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Items, you know what I mean?
That'd be interesting to see.
Well, because I mean, it must have motivated. If they're going to do it again, I mean, it must have done well.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It would be interesting to see to me because I guess the format that we see with a lot of free-to-play games is they're definitely going away, and I haven't really heard a lot of this term anymore, but the pay-to-win. It kind of seems totally dissolved.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the one game we were talking about last week, Warframe, I think there's some pay-to-win there.
Okay.
Some of the loot crates and some of the, obviously the boxes.
Well, part of that, I think, has to do with loot boxes in general facing a lot of, legal backlash.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's pretty much gambling.
In Belgium, for instance, Belgium went hard against loot boxes.
Yeah.
And then I think there's even one of the states in the U.S. here is going pretty hard on loot boxes, too.
I thought it was Hawaii or something.
Yeah, Hawaii, I think.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's just interesting to see, and it's but it would be fun to see stats. But I like those, and I mean, if people are paying for it, great.
Yeah,
I don't care.
The thing is, it's no sweat off NetherRealm's back to put that kind of microtransaction into the game because it's even if you're not gonna have whales who invest $50 on easy fatalities,
Right.
Nobody's
you
gonna
never
do that.
know. I bet there's got to be one or two.
Well, there might be, but I'm saying generally speaking, it's not going to happen. They probably don't expect that. They're just putting it in there I
can see
you want it.
having a party, and having that on the background.
Something like that.
They buy 50 of those so people can just get.
And that's the other thing too about the microtransaction easy fatalities is that the pay scale was actually not terrible. It wasn't. Well, it was I can't. It's been a while, so don't quote me. But it was $5 for 20, something like that.
Seems totally
which is
fair.
And then it was $1 for 5 or something like that. So it scales up big time.
Yeah.
So it's no sweat if you want to just dump a few bucks into it and get a good number of quick fatalities out of it.
And I think I think that's a good way to go with the microtransactions and or we were talking about before, in-app purchases where it's you really, you're paying for a luxury item, I guess, in the game. You're not really paying for, and I don't know, because when we were talking about Diablo earlier, I think theirs seemed kind of iffy. I think there's some kind of loot crate.
You know what I
style
think
thing
about is people who are not as dexterous as other people or handicapped in some way. Maybe that would be market for them.
Or even
I feel that's exploit.
Oh yeah, that is exploitative.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least they get to do it then.
Well, they
now they have to pay extra.
Right, but somebody
do
shouldn't have to pay extra if they're
right.
They do have accessibility options in the consoles and stuff. So you
Right.
can
Okay.
you can maneuver the
Yeah.
buttons around to make
And
it
that
however you
Super
want.
Bowl ad, you guys see that?
Oh, the
For
controller with the
Yeah.
I was actually just gonna bring that up. I forget what console was that for?
Xbox.
Yeah, and it was like did you see it? It's somebody who's like an amputee is playing
Yeah.
on
The tears.
like kind of a joy,
The tears. It was such a touching ad.
kind of like a joy pad. Like you ever seen
Oh.
like at the Evo tournament when they have like the classic arcade joy pad?
Yeah, there's like 2 giant buttons, and then there's like foot pedals and stuff that you can attach,
Yeah.
and you can assign any button to anything.
Yeah, but I think that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
not?
that's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they.
But then, well, you know what they did too? I don't know how well they've done it, but the eye capture. There's some games
Oh,
that
eye
use
tracking or
the
whatever?
eye tracking, and I don't know how well it's implemented and stuff. But like, if you can start to create basic things with it, I'm sure it can evolve into something great.
Don't get me started on eye tracking.
And I did want to mention as well before we move on with MK11, Baraka's confirmed to come back, even though he died in MK10.
Oh, nice.
He was killed in the story mode in that, but he's back because the main villain is like she can manipulate time and stuff.
Oh, spoilers.
So she's like, well, no, this is all
Spoilers.
stuff that you're gonna see.
Trash.
It's all stuff they've already mentioned.
Yeah.
Like it's all well known. But
Retcon City.
yeah, it's basically kind of like that. Like they're using her as like basically their get out of jail free card in the story mode to like bring back these characters that have died.
Yeah.
So like Baraka's coming back.
But I thought they could always just bring people back because couldn't they always just go into?
Well, yes and no, because like
kind of like Shao Kahn always opened the portals or whatever. And
well, no, because Shao Kahn was killed off in MK9. So that's the thing. Like that's the other thing too is like Mortal Kombat has actually evolved a lot over the years. Where it used to be just like you climb the ladder with one character, you get that character's ending, and then NetherRealm down the road, like after that game is released, they'll just decide what the canon ending actually is, and they'll move on from that. And then for the next game, you get another like climb another ladder with one character at a time and get their specific ending. Not all endings are canon. But then like in Deadly Alliance for PS2 and Deception and Armageddon, they had like an actual story that played out. But then in MK9, that was like the reboot. Yeah. So they like basically went back in time, like back to the original first game, and modernized all of that. Like they had like all the original fighters come back. So it's been a consistent story since MK9. That's just been going through like its paces since then. The stories are actually really good. And that's something else that I don't think that people were expecting from NetherRealm, that they could craft like a really good storyline, but it's impressively good. The lore that they built up in that series is really good. It's really interesting. I just watched the whole like Mortal Kombat 10 story just so I could get caught up on it because there's a lot of stuff that happens.
I did see a few cutscenes and they looked like they really kind of had their stories on point now.
Yeah.
Just like what was the other one? Injustice, right? Because that one I watched that whole. I didn't play the game, but I watched the entire movie.
The first Injustice storyline was awesome.
Yeah,
it was so good that DC made like an actual comic run out of it.
Wasn't that with the bad Superman or whatever? Yeah, that was so good.
So DC like put some of their top writers on it, and like Injustice the comic was actually one of their best-selling comics.
Yeah, I can see that because it was a compelling story.
Yeah, I mean the NetherRealm guys know what they're doing. Yeah. So so Baraka's back. Noob Saibot might be coming back. A lot of people are hoping for him. But yeah, that's that I guess for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how in depth the story goes with that, and then how games now, like Apex Legends, have like almost zero backstory.
Right.
And that's a game that actually me and Bruce played together recently.
I mean, they have it's almost zero. But their one cutscene is like, you're all arena fighters and you're legends among people, and in the real world you're epic heroes, but in the ring you're all equals. So become the legend within the ring.
I heard that Anthem wasn't getting solid stories either, though.
Oh, really? I didn't hear it. I like looked at it and then I was like, people are paying to play early, and that's fine, I guess. But I can't be bothered to keep up with it right now because I gotta be playing this Apex Legends instead.
Yeah. So what did you actually think of? Because you're not a huge Battle Royale fan, but what did you actually think about?
It's really good because I just found out.
Let's do a 90 second, 120 second review of Apex. Go ahead. Continue where you were.
Very, very good.
Yeah. Well, you could go.
There we go.
What were you going to say?
So as someone who typically doesn't like Battle Royale games, because the loop doesn't really do it for me. Like hiding in bathrooms,
Yeah.
it just doesn't really like.
Yeah.
I understand that like it can be tense and it's a survival game, so you're trying to work your way through and not die. But like at the same time, this one it seems like there's enough guns around. The sliding is my favorite thing in this game. Is like the fact that you can slide. The motion, just running around with that, makes it so fluid and like you don't ever feel slow. Even running up a hill, they give you the option like in Counter-Strike where you can pull your knife out, like you put your guns out away and run faster. So I'm like, you have and there's water, there's like streams through here. It's like you can none of them are deep. You don't swim, you keep sprinting right through. It's like
there is one by the relay in the top right corner though. There's a waterfall and you can fall off it and like die.
Oh really?
Yeah, because there's edges to them. Some of the areas in the map where it's like you can walk off and just be dead.
Well, I'm sure they'll patch that, but
I don't think they're going. I think it's just like because then somebody has to grab your beacon and then go like deliver you.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but yeah, I mean, but it keeps the pace up, and I feel like that's by design because most water always slows you down. This doesn't. It's like no, you keep going. The only thing you can't do is slide through the water. So I'm like, wow.
I think coming from a PUBG mostly. And I wasn't a big fan of the Call of Duty, but coming from PUBG and going into Apex Legends, like the learning curve was just like it's just a completely different.
Right. Well, I'm a big Call of Duty fan, and the gunplay is very reminiscent of that. So I really like.
The whole fast twitch aspect. And
it felt good. It was tight. It's like if I turned my my dead zone all the way down, so it's really twitchy, and I'm like, this is so. It feels so good. Like the guns all feel satisfying. The sound is top notch for the guns. It's like they all have oomph to them. You know, it's
everything's great.
Yeah. So
it's nice because it's just the whole thing right now is nicely packaged and presented to its player base. I think so even though that obviously there's tons of replayability, but it's like even though we're not getting story and kind of these other things, it'll be interesting to see. As we talked about before, as games as a service, as them going forward to see what kind of things they're going to bring seasonal to the game, and I think
the one thing
I think there'll be a lot.
If I had to ask for one thing, it'd probably be more challenges to unlock like camos and stuff like that because I feel like there's not enough meta to it. It's all just like grind for your monetary, like your crafting medals or whatever, and that's it.
But you get awarded with the points to unlock the character, so it would be nice if they were able to apply those same points not only to unlock characters to unlocking skins, because the only way to unlock skins is with the crafting resources you get from the Apex packs when you level up, and then but there's like the credits that you can use to buy,
and I wish that like with guns you could be like, well, if you get 100 headshots with this gun, then you get this specific.
Oh, just like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Or any Call of Duty, they all have that.
Like
it's
that?
like
Oh, that was the last one.
But funny you say that because that's actually who made like the people from who was it, Sledgehammer?
Yeah.
I think, but. No, it was the other one, Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
Infinity Ward, 75% of that team all left, and they all went to Respawn, which is why they called it Respawn.
Yeah.
And then they made this game and Titanfall, which is, like I said earlier, super underrated. So and this is in that universe. Mm-hmm. So I don't know any of the lore, but there's lore there if you want to look it up. So there's actually a bit of story if you want to look into Titanfall.
So thumbs up on Apex. And talking about respawns and remakes, the Resident Evil 2 expansion came out, and Crow played it, and so what do you want to say about that?
It's what can I say? It's free DLC. Like you can't go wrong. Like
so it was free for everybody.
I mean, well, you can, but like they didn't. That's my point. Like, but even if it were bad, it's still free. So it's like you can't even complain.
Right.
That's
true.
And it's
well, you could. I mean, let's look at Red Dead Online, right?
Let's.
Did they not fix it yet, or is it still kind of?
Well, it's a beta.
It's still very, very dead.
But
there's just nothing to do.
The argument is that there's nothing to do, and like it's not story modes, right? It's all that other stuff.
I don't want to talk about Red Dead. Let's talk about the expansion of.
So there's actually 4 new modes, challenge modes that were added to it. They're all basically what if stories where it's like parallel universe story kind of thing where like if this character did not die in the canon story of RE2, this is what could have happened to him, and so on. So like you play as 4 different ones. You have to unlock the 4th, I believe, because they only show you. I only got around to doing the training modes. But the fourth one is unlocked when you beat all the main ones.
What are the 3 that they give you right up front?
So they give you the dad at the gun shop. He gets a call on the radio after the incident where like Leon and Ada meet him.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if his story will just because you said it goes back. So does it just pick up right from there, like when you start? Does he kind of close the door or whatever? And
it's it starts like right after they would close the door, and then instead of the gunshot, he suddenly gets a call over the radio and says like, "Hey, I got a helicopter. Let's get out of here." So he leaves, and then that's where you play as him, and like he's rushing to get out. Yeah. So it's really interesting to see like these stories of. Right. And that's another cool aspect too. It's not just random characters. It's like here's some, like if you really think about it, it's a little bit depressing. But it's like this is how it could have turned out for these characters. Right. Had they been a little bit smarter, a little bit faster.
But in another world, it does because you're playing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like because with the gun shop owner, you don't really know what happened.
Yeah,
because you do. I mean, you just walk away.
You do if you you definitely know what happened when you start that challenge mode though, because it shows you what actually happened.
But in Leon's story, you don't really know.
No, not from his perspective.
I mean? Right.
But you find out, like you see the inside of that room before you start that challenge mode for the day.
Right. But that's what I mean. But in Leon's playthrough you don't get the.
Right. No, they don't.
You don't. I mean, you just go on. You just continue it, and then the gun. So, so what other characters are there?
You get the one lady that was laying on the table in the chief's office. You have to like get out of the nursery and get out of there.
I don't think I even got into the chiefs because that's Claire.
Yeah, that's Claire's playthrough.
I don't think I started the Claire's, but I didn't get that far.
It's worth it to get through it if you can, because she's got her own different story angle. Right. But there's also another soldier. Like they have the Grim Reaper in the Fourth Survivor mode, which is like the really hardcore mode. Yeah. But the one of his teammates who died basically ends up surviving in this challenge mode, and that one's like the hardest one. That's a 4-star rating for difficulty. Yeah. I think the woman was 3 and the dad was also 3, or maybe the woman was 2. But I know that the soldier guy was definitely like 4-star. He's the hardest. The other interesting thing they do is they throw in new zombies at you that have different traits. Oh, so really? It's not just like you're not fighting just the same zombies you've been used to. Like they throw in new stuff like poisonous zombies. Oh, really? If you shoot them and kill them, then like this puff of poison will come out of them. Yeah. There's also like these ones called pale heads where if you shoot them with like regular bullets, they can just come back. Like they just absorb the damage and like and they heal and they come back. And then there's
like they regenerate.
Yeah, they just regenerate and come back. And
so even if you get a critical,
if you hit them in the head, whatever, it doesn't matter. They'll come back. The only way to put them down for good is to use like magnum ammo and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you gotta really.
That's trash.
Yeah, well, it's
trash. Yeah. Well, no, that is trash because who wants to spend that magnum ammo?
Well, they give you enough resources.
Oh, really?
So that you should be able to get through it.
Right.
It would just take some practice.
Yeah, I would like a mode in that where when you drop like zombies, they'll drop. I mean, they could potentially drop ammunition.
They do that in the challenge modes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I got fucking.
There's somebody say challenge. Because that's the challenge of the week.
Yeah.
Let's complete one of these.
Well, don't spoil the video.
Well, it's spoiled! Oh no!
The challenge is to complete one of the new RE2 challenge modes in under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but do you get ranked in those too? Do you get like the SA/B ranking when you finish? Or
I think,
because that would be an acceptable challenge.
You get time.
Too, is like get an A or get 10 minutes.
You get time.
Right.
That's all. I think that's all you get is time, from what I can remember.
So it's a speed run, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you can take your time. So like that's a good thing about it.
Right.
Like
you can just get through it.
Yeah. Or you can just try and rush it. Like you'll definitely get better every time because you'll have a better idea of like how to use your resources, when and where and stuff like that.
Right.
So
yeah, when I'm trying to get through games, if I'm having a hard time, I'll just watch speedrunners.
Is there
It's like so many pro tips.
Does the time tick down or does it tick up?
it just goes up.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you can take your time. There's no rush, and sometimes it's, especially in like the earlier runs, you really should take your time and just like or use training mode. Like training mode is really good.
Yeah.
It shows you where the zombies are. It takes like 2 bullets to take out a zombie in training mode. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a walk in the park. But yeah, they do have zombies that will drop like backpacks that leave resources.
Oh,
they have like
really?
these
Yeah, 'cause that'd be nice.
They have like random gumball machines, and like you come up to the gumball machine, and they'll give you 1 of 3 different resources. As soon as you take one, then it's locked out.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
can you spin again or no?
No,
Only if you pay $5.
no,
That's why it's
Only
free.
if you watch.
no.
an
You can
ad.
you can only grab 1 item from each of those boxes.
Right, and yeah.
So
But when I just said that though, not to be funny, is like I just thought about. I was thinking about that earlier. I wanted to say it earlier, not to run off RE2, but like with Diablo being on mobile, it's like I was wondering if they're gonna have like ads. It's like, oh, if you defeat like a boss, and like, oh, do you want extra gold? Watch this ad because it's a mobile game, and like that's what mobile games.
yeah,
You know, you can watch an ad.
Yeah,
like
well,
huh?
what? I'm sorry, I got confused.
he's saying in the Diablo mobile game.
Oh,
Diablo?
I was like, what? Yabo? What the fuck? What you talking about, boy?
Word Story.
That's what I thought you were talking
Well, they do that in
about.
Word Story, but in a lot of mobile games they have like this, like watch an ad for extra like gold
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But no, I think I mean,
Oh my
I think
god,
I'm gonna have to sit down and get
that's
to
the
survival
worst
mode.
timeline. If that comes to consoles, watch this ad.
Well, no, but it's like wouldn't that be terrible for
Kind of.
Blizzard to like to have that?
As soon- that would be
If
unacceptable.
that started,
Yeah.
that started in console games and stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody would tolerate that.
No.
Not a
No.
chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely give those challenge ones a shot.
Yeah,
They're really fun.
Give them come back.
They're
to
really
Resident
fun, and they
Evil,
also they give you new challenges.
Right.
I mean, just like in enemy selection alone,
Yeah.
which like give you they keep you on your toes. They make you think a little bit more. They change enough of it around so that it doesn't feel like you're just running through the same crap with different characters.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's definitely good to come back to. I've definitely been trying to get back to it, but I've been playing Apex, and it's like they just keep constantly dropping stuff. And so that's kind of our last topic is like a lot of new games dropped and updates came out on the 15th, and so I'm just gonna lump them together or whatever, kind of, or just for the timestamps that I love. We're just gonna bundle them together. And so I think we all watched a lot and saw a lot from Metro Exodus. Does everybody want to just give their knee-jerk reaction, and then we'll give a knee-jerk reaction to Anthem.
I mean, having played the first 2, this looks like a game that'd be right up my alley. I love the first 2. They were like dark
Metro.
and gritty.
Yeah.
They had a very, very Call of Duty campaign feel. It's very like corridor shooters, but like instead of soldiers, you're shooting these monsters.
Right.
And like the currency was like in bullets, which was interesting because it's like you can either shoot them or spend them, and so it's survival in that aspect, which I think I had heard that the new game has plenty of that. It's like, but this one, it's like with Red Dead, how you had to clean your guns and make them work. I guess this is that times 10 because it's like if you don't clean your guns right. They will jam.
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot more reward for cleaning.
Right, that's actually worthwhile to do in this.
That's good to know.
So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so there's that, and where the other 2 were much tighter and in the dark metros. This one's called Exodus because you get out and go into the open world. So I foresee a lot more character engagement, and I think that'll be interesting that it's not so linear. It's a little more open world. So, but I mean, I loved all of the just the lore. It's based off those books.
Did you read them?
I didn't read them, but I played through the games, and I had heard they follow very closely the books, so it's like I don't need to.
Yeah. So what did you think of it from what you saw?
I played Last Light. That was the only one I played. I didn't play the first one, but from what I saw from the new game, it looks good enough for me to want to go out and buy a copy and play it. So that's probably what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Graphics are stunning.
I'm looking
too.
forward to it.
So then you know what you could do next time is we could do another Crow's Corner review.
yeah,
Good.
I guess so.
Yeah.
No, that would be cool. I mean, and so I watched some stuff too, and the things I really liked, like you were saying, is the open world, the grittiness, and the gunplay. I mean, and it kind of like, I don't want to say it follows closely, but I think because of the post apocalyptic world. It reminds me a lot of Fallout, and because there's kind of like the cleaning and a little crafting system,
Geiger
like
counter
those,
wiping off your mask and stuff.
yeah, but I think that's
changing
like a
your
cool
filter.
Yeah, I think then because you can put like duct tape.
You
on
like
it and
that?
Stuff. I did like
It's
those.
interesting because that's like my least favorite part of the old.
Well, I
games.
just think
It's
it,
like
but I mean, because the same thing, and
the
like
desperation of
yeah.
having no more filters and gasping for air. Like,
Right.
where is there a filter?
yeah, but I
That's-
like,
that's
but you know,
cool
but
to
that's
me.
like, yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
fail, and like if you, I mean, even in this episode, it's like you can kind of get a good idea of what kind of game we're in, because I talked about realism
Yeah.
with Diablo and stuff, and I talked about the success and
Speaking about
failure.
realism and immersion, I hear a pro tip about this game is if you switch the subtitles and you actually listen to it in Russian, I guess it's some people will say it's arguably better. So like,
well, it probably because it doesn't translate accurately, and it was probably originally like a Russian thing.
it's just that like the I guess
The
it's a
Russian-
little hokey
the
the
Russian
people with
to
the
English.
Russian accents.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
Okay,
if they're authentically
Right.
Russian, it's
Yeah.
like just a little more immersive.
Yeah, but
I might try that.
Yeah.
I actually potentially though they recorded it all, or they did it for Russian, and then they maybe
Right.
It's like watching a foreign film that's dubbed. Where
Right.
it's like this doesn't.
Yeah.
They're not even the same people.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? So it's kind of like it's just kind of like it's kind of.
Well, that said, I mean, they that's with all games that release, they have voiceovers for every region. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
yeah.
they have whole teams that are regional.
I wanted to talk about Talos Principle. We're way over time.
we
can fit that in next week.
I mean,
Or
we could always just slam it in right now at the end too. But
Yeah,
okay,
if you
so
really
all
want to.
I'm going to say is like, yeah, I think I liked it, and I think potentially, other than you, who's going to get it kind of right away. But I'm kind of wait for, because it's a single player game. I'm kind of wait for a sale.
Yeah.
I think, but I think it
That's
looks
exactly
something
where
that's
I'm
really
at.
cool. But I also like what you're talking about before with the either you use your bullets to kill your enemies and stay alive, or you buy things with them. I think that just seems like the realism of the game seems so much more close to what I would expect
Right.
in End of Days. And I'm not trashing anything here, but bottle caps, really,
Right.
as currency. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you put something as a placeholder. but it's
There was one thing that made that whole concept look ridiculous, and it was a guy who sent buckets of bottle caps to Bethesda Studios.
And they gave
sent
him a real
copy.
game, yeah.
And he sent him a copy of Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But they said, please, nobody else do this because the bottle caps stink really bad.
Yeah.
And they're
Oh, yeah.
really
They're
heavy.
bugs.
It's like,
Right.
they're just
And
terrible.
then,
No.
yeah. Okay, so then, and do we want to talk about Anthem real quick? I mean, I know.
I feel like if you want to.
Yeah, I really didn't see
I don't have much
too
to say.
much on it. I mean,
Mixed reviews.
because it's not out completely, and it's something that I want to play on console.
Just
and
like
I know
with the-
people are talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you probably looked into it the most.
I
right?
did. I was super hyped for this game, and
Right.
now my hype kind of fell off because I've seen people playing it. I'm
Yeah.
going right back to what I was thinking before, was this is like a month 2 purchase. I didn't want to pick it up right away because I knew it was going to be buggy because
Yeah.
of the beta that I played.
Right.
And it was good. You want to love this game. It has so much potential, but it falls super short because of all like the game, not game breaking, but irritating bugs. I watched like 3 different people stream for about 20 minutes apiece, and every single one of them said that they all sounded like they were just irritated to no end, and it was like you could tell they wanted to like this game and they were liking it, but like at the same time they were just getting rubbed raw by the I had heard the menus were sticky and like were not intuitive, so that there was that.
The map was like it's a little bit, the map is a little bit repetitive. Like the missions are super repetitive because it's basically just go here, kill enemy waves, go here, kill enemy waves.
Well, I do like the
kill
map.
enemy waves.
I mean, from what I
Yeah,
saw,
but the problem with the map was like it's really pretty,
Yeah.
but it's also very empty.
right.
So there's not a whole lot of reason to explore. There's not a whole lot of reason
Yeah.
because like there's nothing to it.
That's how I felt about the Ghost Recon Wildlands. Is like that's what I was trying to say
Right.
about that too. Is like, okay, like yeah, this looks really great, but
Yeah. Put some life into it. Yeah.
Well, once you start getting around, you realize you're kind of wasting your time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I've played a couple of games like that before, and it
Yeah.
drives me crazy. I'm just
Yeah.
like, how can you make a
Right.
map this freaking delicious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm wandering around like looking in every nook and cranny, and there's nothing.
Well, see, yeah, and like that goes back to, and I'm just gonna go right back to Diablo again because I'm on it.
Yeah.
But like in Diablo 1, it's like because you have like the map, you have like that outline, the kind of
That was a
transparent
roguelike,
map.
right?
But it's like you go through, and then it's like you want to go in every room and you want to go in every corner because there's potentially chests and legendary items. I mean, I remember in one, like, so they had regular items, magic items, and then rare, or like kind of like rare / legendary. And like I kicked a barrel and I got a rare, and it's like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's probably like a 0.003% chance of that happening or whatever, but it's like it still happened.
Or like,
so like because it happened the one time, it's like I'm never not gonna kick a barrel.
Right.
I don't care if there's a trap in there.
And like in one time in Red Dead, I went under a bridge and I saw that this carriage had fallen off, and like I looked at the carriage, I was like, wow, this is cool. This is a cool thing that they added to give more life to the world, and lo and behold, it's full of valuables that the people who died are there, and they can grab some loot.
And
so
it's like probably just a random instant occurrence or something.
No, it was built into. You could tell it was built into the map. Like that was just like part of the map. But I was it was impressive.
Well, no, but I'm saying it's probably one of those. Yeah, it's a random thing that happens at a certain time for something. I mean, it's obviously a thing.
Yeah,
but it's like what's the percent?
And you go back.
It is
like days later.
The Red Dead map really was like a living world.
Yeah,
like it really was.
The freaking house gets built and stuff.
I love about that game.
I keep going back to that game because it's like the top. That's top. That's god tier gaming.
To get back to Anthem though, it's like this was like my main concern as a BioWare fan.
Yeah.
As a Mass Effect fan, I'm just like I know that they have the potential to write a great story.
Right.
But I really feel like EA is the one who kind of pressured them into making Anthem. You know what I mean? Because one of the guys, one of the top like executives at EA, I remember this very specifically because it stood out to me.
Yeah.
But he said basically there are no games in the future of EA that will be offline only. Yeah. Like all of the games from here on out will be online.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was just like, BioWare's screwed.
Yeah. What
are they gonna do? Because like they put an online mode in ME3 in Mass Effect 3, which was fine. It was like 4-player 11-wave kind of team shooter. Right. But it didn't take anything away from the main single-player game.
Right.
And Mass Effect Andromeda, same thing. It was a single-player game, but it had a 4-player online component.
Right.
But with Anthem, like this is like solely online. Yeah. And BioWare is like, I just don't know what the heck they're gonna do.
And although I think there's just a lot of pressure to perform, and especially if you're releasing like a AAA, blockbuster title like Anthem is like, you're just gonna be put under the microscope.
And a lot of developers who switch from like single player offline to like an online game only. Yeah. Like that's a huge leap because it's a very different set of circumstances, very different set of code.
Well, the player base wants it. It's a different thing.
I mean, I think that's where Apex is a little bit better. I mean, even though it's online, they made sure to they said EA does not get to touch this game. This is like all us. Right. They're just publishing it.
But the thing is though, is like going back to what I said before, Diablo. Just kidding. No, it was like the package that Apex brings is like it's kind of it's a smaller package, like it's a world with tons of replayability, but it's like when you're forced to make, so they don't have to bring, they never intended to bring you a larger than life world,
right.
Or let's just say a larger than Earth world.
Yeah, the more you play, the smaller that map gets.
And that's part of
but it's like they don't intend to bring you anything other than their main focus is replayability, and it's like, but with Anthem, it's like their main focus is a larger than Earth world, and like what I mean. It's like they're supposed to create storylines, characters. They're supposed to create so many things to do, and it's just like
it's a little empty.
But it's like I mean, how much money do you have to spend to fill it?
They're really trying to compete with Destiny here. Right. Let's be real about it. And so that Destiny has how many years at its back already of content. Right. So it's like when it came out, it was empty too. Right. People were like, "Well, there's nothing here." So it's like they just need time to flesh it out. I feel like this is going to be a game that'll be worth it someday. Right. With so much in the landscape right now that's worth playing,
I'm just surprised that they didn't learn from Destiny. Like to think well, when we release this game, it's got to be more fleshed out than when Destiny was day one.
Right.
But it's not. It's pretty much a repeat.
No, from what we've seen it anyway.
Well, I mean, but mixed reviews. Destiny was getting mixed reviews on launch and stuff like that, and a very dead kind of beautiful world. I'm hearing the same stuff.
Right.
And that really surprised me coming from BioWare. I would have thought BioWare would at least have more story-centered stuff to focus on.
Yeah.
But even that, it feels, apparently, according to many, it feels kind of shallow.
Well, that's
But, I mean,
probably
how big
EA
of it?
getting their
Right,
hands
that's
in
what I
it,
was
where
gonna
they're
say.
basically saying, well, don't put out that much content because we got to release the rest of the content that we already
Yeah,
have
I mean, I think
made
it's just
and make people pay
And,
for
and
it.
that's the Activision Blizzard model for Destiny when Bungie
Yeah.
was under them.
Yeah, which
Same
is
deal.
it's crap. It's
Well,
like,
I think that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the executive producers saying,
Yeah.
"No, this is what no,
We gotta
do not
pace
go in
this
this
out.
direction,
We
but
can't
go
cut it, then,
yeah, go in this direction." And it's like, no, yeah. I mean, it comes down to I don't know who's calling the shots, but whoever is you know.
I'm-
But
I
that's
just
the
don't-
thing. I think there's just a lot of pressure to come out with.
There is a lot of
game
pressure,
that,
but, like, the
to
thing is, like,
compete with what's
I-
already out.
I think that it really does have something to do with EA because, like, knowing BioWare like I do, like, as a fan of particularly the Mass Effect games, and, like, you know, we all know that Dragon Age is very much story-driven as well.
Yeah.
It's just as story-driven as Mass Effect.
True.
And so, like, they're super good at story-driven games.
Yeah.
And then they give us something that has something like Anthem. It just doesn't, like, something's amiss. This is not in BioWare's wheelhouse to, like, not give out, like, lush stories of some kind. So, like,
Right.
I really do feel like I'm not saying I know or anything like that for sure, but, like, I have a strong suspicion that it was very much was EA pulling the strings.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I don't think any of the playable characters, Anthony, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they don't have the structure and the background like the players in Mass Effect, where it's like you have.
Well, they don't.
You
not
have
really.
you have
That's-
characters with stories, and like Anthem, you don't. I don't think.
I mean, they
I don't
kind of
know,
had to
some-
take a chance with this game to
Right.
try and do something really different. So they're not in their comfort zone here
Yeah.
either.
But,
So you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like they have the chops to make a good story, but
Right.
they're trying to figure out how to make
But I
that
would
good
still,
story
I
and fit it in.
That's fair, but I would still expect to hear that, you know, like, they can say, like, well, the online kind of sucks, the online elements kind of suck, but
Yeah.
the story is great.
Right.
If I could hear at least that from a BioWare game, then I'd be
Right.
like, okay, that makes sense.
What do you,
I'll
yeah,
still
I mean,
buy
what
this,
do you
yeah.
what do you think about even picking up Anthem for a console when it comes out on the 22nd? Are you gonna wait, or are you gonna play and be the judge for yourself?
No, I'm gonna watch other people.
Yeah.
Other people can spend their money right now because I know that
Yeah.
this game. I don't know, but I have a high hopes that
Yeah.
this game's gonna be good after maybe their first expansion and it drops.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
that's the
I'll,
thing, like
I'll
you
pay
said,
full
like,
price if it doesn't suck.
I think this is a game where it's just too much to try to deliver what people want
Yeah.
within the timeline, and it's like obviously they need to make deadlines or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but it's like you were saying about Destiny. It's like, well, Destiny really didn't pick up until like after the first year.
Right.
So it's like this is the same thing. Anthem. I mean, it looks great, and I haven't heard any problems with like the game mechanics or the gunplay.
Did you guys
other
hear
than
anything
potential,
about like the
quest
end game
lines.
at all?
I started reading something before it, but before we started, but people were tapping at me. So no, but I think it'll be something like Destiny, where it's like this is its platform, and now like what are you going to put on top of it? you
Well,
know?
I just know that the
And are you-
feedback in the
yeah.
beta was that boss fights were dope.
Yeah.
Like the gunplay is nice, and from what I played, it was good. It was like it felt like a very like a Destiny boss, or like you know, like a World of Warcraft boss where you don't stand in the fire. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and hit them in their weak points when they're doing this, and like it seemed like you had to have a coordinated team, and that seemed like that would be really fun. So if they get more of that in there, it'll be worth playing to me. I think.
Yeah. So I
But
think
BioWare also needs to really focus on what their strong suit, and their strong suit is the storytelling.
Yeah.
They need to up that, because like there's no way that they can't flesh out the characters that you play.
Well, the one story that I played, the one quest line that they gave me in the beta was pretty good. It was captivating. Like, took some guy and he split, like he got this artifact and hit it, and it split him into 3 people, and each one had a part of his personality in it. Like, we were going to try and figure out how to fix him, and that was good. Like, it was interesting. Like, I wanted to see how that would turn out. So it wasn't like, I don't know, I've never really played Mass Effect, so I don't know if that's anywhere near that. And it seemed like the branching storylines was like your choice was either be a dick or don't.
right.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't, but I still thought it was interesting. So they have some, just not as much as you probably want.
So yeah, I
guess.
think we're just gonna have to wait and see how the story unfolds there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the Talos and then wrap it up?
I think that'd probably be wise. We're about
Yeah,
a few
if we're
minutes
good.
over.
Yeah, we're way over.
That's okay.
Yeah. So what is it? Tell us about.
Well, it's a first or third person puzzle experience.
Okay.
Essentially, it's kind of hard to explain it because it's a very philosophical puzzly game.
So it's a puzzler. That's
it is a puzzler. Like at its core, it's a puzzler.
Yeah.
But in my view, it's a lot more than that because it explores things that games don't typically explore.
Mm-hmm.
Like it throws all kinds of like different philosophical ideas at you. And you can completely ignore it.
So it's not a popcorn blockbuster, is what you're saying?
No, like it's definitely like it's like a Blade Runner of a video game. Like it gives you stuff to think about.
Right.
It's like it challenges you as it's kind of like if you wanted to compare it, it's kind of like the Stanley Parable in the sense that it's very aware of itself.
Right.
And it's intentionally giving you these opposing perspectives of like nihilism versus existentialism, things like that.
Yeah.
And if you understand philosophy, even on like it's not like super deep philosophy, but it's like it explores these themes of control, of self-actualization, of like just.
So it's a much more adult game.
Yeah, well,
what's the name of the game? Is it actually called Talos?
The Talos Principle. Yeah.
Right, I just don't think anybody ever said it before.
Yeah,
the thing. So I don't think people are listening.
Talos
Yeah.
Principle. Yeah, I played the expansion. I wasn't playing the main game over the weekend. I played the main game first like a year ago, and then I just cracked into the expansion over the weekend, and it brought me right back into like, wow, this really was a great game.
Yeah.
And the expansion was no joke either.
This is like a smaller independent thing.
It was made by Devolver Digital.
Okay.
And
Well, they're not small. Well, they made what was that? Outland Miami.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those other but it looks nothing like that because all their games are like pixel art usually, and this was not.
Yeah. No. It was a very beautiful game. And that's the thing about it too is like that's one of the themes that it explores is like you can stay. Do you want to stay here and help this God being who's like telling you like what to do? He's like telling you as soon as you wake up in the first part of the main game. You're basically given this task from this voice up in the sky who's like this godly figure, and he's like telling you like go out my child and go and solve these puzzles and grab these things and stuff, and then like it encourages you, it pushes you to go against his wishes.
Yeah.
So a lot of the game is saying like go against God's will, and like go against like this guy who like he created you. He created this whole world for you to live in.
Yeah.
So it explores these like religious themes and like some atheistic themes and like just all kinds of different.
So it's like the snake in the Garden of Eden.
Well, there is a snake character in the game.
Really?
Yeah, there is a snake character in the game, like because you get to these certain points where there's these computer consoles that are there.
Right.
And you're just like these look really out of place because you're walking around like these ancient Roman ruins and in this virtual simulation world, and it's a virtual simulation world because every once in a while, like one of the pillars or something will just glitch on purpose,
Nice.
just to like screw with your head.
Yeah.
And like it didn't even occur to me when I first played the game. I was just like, what is that sound? Where is that coming from? And then I would like look around and see like, oh, I'm in a simulation in this game.
Yeah.
I know where this is going. And then I thought I knew where it was going, but it went way deeper than that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this game is just so good because it's one of those rare games that comes along once in a great while that just pushes you to actually think outside the box, not just in the puzzles, but like in the philosophical context.
Right. It actually makes you question real thought.
So where is the game actually available for people who don't know?
You can get it on PC. I'm pretty sure it's on Steam. You can definitely get it on both of the major consoles.
I think they came out with a VR version.
They
on
did,
PC.
but only for the PC.
Yeah.
It was not on PSVR.
So you're saying it's worth a buy?
Absolutely. I mean, it's
You
at this
convinced
point.
me. Now I'm gonna have to pick it up.
I'm interested to do the edit so I can actually watch gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the gameplay doesn't really do it justice because like when you're actually playing it, it feels different than when you're just watching someone play it.
Yeah.
You have to because like the puzzles are difficult, but they're not difficult to the point where you just want to like rage quit and break the game. You're just like, I know how to solve this. Like it gives me all the tools I need. I know I can do this. Like, but like you're racking your brain like, what is the solution? And then when you finally get it, it's just like, of course, that was the thing the whole time. And you feel really good.
Moments where you have to like take a break or go to sleep and wake up.
Yeah,
with the solution.
that happened to me when I was playing the expansion over the weekend. There were like 3 puzzles that I just could not get.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting there for like an hour straight. And I'm just like, what is going on? So I just like I left. because it lets you roam around. Like, you can do any of the puzzles at any time. You don't have to do them in a specific order.
Yeah.
So, which is really good, because, like, if you get really frustrated, you can just move on to another one.
Yeah.
And so I did that, like, 3 times, and, like, each time I came back, I was just like, oh, this is so simple. Like,
Right.
why didn't I think of that? And, like,
Right.
I just did it. So, like, the puzzles are super fun. They push your brain, but they're not, like, annoying.
Right.
You know, there are no puzzles that are unfair. And then there's also, again, like, a lot of the philosophical stuff that goes on. Like, and
Nice.
I think the only complaint I have is that the ending of the DLC felt a little bit lazy compared to the rest of the DLC's content, and also especially the main game story. The ending of the DLC, I should say expansion. It's not DLC. It's really a legit expansion. But the ending of the expansion, like, there's 4 different endings, but they vary, like, only in the words that you get at the end. Like, that's pretty much the only way that it really varies.
Gotcha.
So,
So
like,
there's not much replayability then.
But to its credit, though, like, those words are intentionally there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything in that game is in it for a reason.
Right.
Which is why it's like it explores that philosophy of, like,
Yeah.
here's the messages that we're giving you.
Yeah.
You can do what you want with them.
You know, that's
So-
funny because Hotline Miami was, at its core, just mindless violence, but all the cutscenes said you like hurting people, don't you? Like, they made you think about, like, they had a meta that went and always questioned. So, and they're just super self-aware. Like, also, if you guys, the audience, want a treat, go watch their show. They have, like, you know how people have the presentations on, like, E3 or whatever. Look up there the Devolver Digital one, because it is hilarious. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
They also had there was also the same team that developed the Serious Sam games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's
I haven't played those, but I just know that they developed them.
Oh, yeah, that should be on, if we ever do, like, a retro gaming section, that needs to be on the playlist.
So just to wrap it up, like, Talos Principle, the main game, and the expansion, get it because it's worth it. It'll twist your brain in all the best ways, not any, like, really negative ways. It's not a bad game at all. Everything about it plays like butter.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun to get into. And it again, like, my main thing is that it breaks down the boundaries as to what a game can be about, and it makes it so that it doesn't have to just be about, like, typical hero versus villain stuff.
Right.
It can be about, like, really deep thought kind of things. It can be about things that can get you to really think about what's going on with your life, with existence, with, you know...
You know, there's 2 types of... There's, like, in the America's story, there's usually the story of the hero who goes out, he becomes something, the outward effects kind of make him who he is, and he goes out and conquers the world, right? That's, like, the typical American story. But in China, they have a different, more introspective, where it's like the world helps make you, and then you go and take journeys inside. So it seems like this is more of that line of storytelling as opposed to the external.
Yeah, I guess I could definitely see that. I would definitely say that could be one of the ways that you could interpret a lot of the narrative in the game.
Yeah, it's a journey into the self.
Because the whole thing really is, even though the character that you play as is technically a robot in the simulation, that is supposed to be under the beck and call of Elohim, the voice that gives you the command at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's still, like, they intentionally make it so that it's in first person because you're the robot.
Right.
You, the player, are the robot.
Right.
That's the whole idea. So it's really a mind, like, just screws with your head.
Yeah.
And in a great way.
Nice. All right. Well,
Sounds pretty good.
it's worth a buy.
And it's getting like 10 out of 10s across the board. So
What does that go for usually? If you had to guess.
Geez, I don't even know
Or
anymore because I bought it like a year ago with the expansion. So
okay.
and I just never played the expansion until just last weekend.
I thought it wasn't full price. It's like
It's got to be.
It's like 15
It's
or something.
It's been out for.
maybe
I
20.
think the main game came out like 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's been out a while.
Worth it though.
Totally worth it.
Cool. So, I think that's it. Just to recap, we got the challenge of the week. hit us up. We'll put your footage on the social medias and feature it here in the video. And again, that was complete any of the new Resident Evil challenge modes in under 10 minutes. So get on it.
I don't think we ever said the question of the week either.
Question of the week. Good idea. Okay, so the question of the week is, given the current landscape in gaming, do you prefer AAA full-price titles with no microtransactions or free-to-play games with tons of microtransactions? So let us know.
Unfortunately, it seems we're heading into a landscape where AAA's full-price games have microtransactions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would even preface the triple or the free-to-play games with a lot of updates, and the service after is how I feel like it kind of is. Where I feel like AAA is kind of
other
try
words?
to come in with DLC.
So in other
big
words,
DLC.
say what you because I don't understand.
Oh, I was just gonna say I feel like the free-to-play games. I feel like they have a lot more updates.
Okay.
Within the timeline of a 3 months.
Oh, I see. So
And then whereas a AAA is like here's your game.
Oh, right.
And we're gonna
Set.
have DLC.
It is what it is.
In 6 months.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it's like kind of what do you want? A
Yeah,
little bit long term.
I'd personally probably go for.
It's just tough to say.
It's tough to say.
Yeah. I mean, I personally.
If it's done well,
Yeah.
I like the free ones.
Right. I like the free to play too because it's like, well, you can get into it and try it and then just rule for yourself. And then it's like, I mean, obviously, but it's like with the AAA, it's like you have to be a lot more leery about what you're actually going to get delivered. You all right, bud?
I'm dying.
All right.
I got no water.
Well, we gotta cut the shit.
All right.
Die. Cut.